This podcast is brought to you by Again and Forever and by the Startup Core Podcast.
Come with me to discover the transformative power of kindness and the joy it brings. Join me as we explore every Monday morning simple yet profound ways to elevate your happiness, one gesture at a time.
Wow, fantastic, baby. Dance. I'm gonna dance. Fantastic, baby.
Fantastic Monday to everyone. How was your week? What did you do to make you happy? Well, whatever you did, keep doing it. Well, as you know, this series is about happiness, and we want to be happy in life. That's our life's goal. But I sometimes have to bring certain facts to people to make them aware, because if they die, that's not good. That's not happiness. So I did a episode on my YouTube channel called Life-Ending Scenarios, and it was about electricity. And I'll probably do an episode here about it, because if you take precautions, you can live longer. And sometimes it's a natural occurrence. I'll talk about it now. Here on the island of Ambergris Caye, I'm on vacation, so to speak. They had a fire at the internet station. So the internet went out for a day. So I was without internet for a day. No big deal. For most people, it's a big deal. And I know there's one girl that lost her Instagram for a couple of days, and she was like ready to commit suicide. So losing internet is even worse. But because we're so reliant on it, and that's about electricity. So I went all throughout these scenarios where we can lose electricity. It could be from a volcano eruption, a tsunami, storms, all kind of different natural disasters, and man-made disasters like wars and horrible things. And so it wasn't to scare you, everyone. It was to make you aware that you need to be reliant on your own safety and your own future, which means buy candles. As simple as that. Buy some candles. Have flashlights that are not battery operated, that either can wind or generate power. Solar panels are real important to have. A water stash, either canned or bottled, or a stream nearby. Those are important things, because water is the second most important resource on the planet. And a gun to protect your family, because when the shit hits the wall, people will kill for food and water for their families. And it's horrible scenarios. And we had a CME before, coronal mass ejection, and it knocked out all the electricity on the planet. And luckily, back in the 1800s, the only electrical machine or electricity was the telegraph. And that was easily repaired. Imagine electricity going out today. No refrigeration, no communication, no water, no nothing. I mean, we're back to the dark ages. And it can happen naturally, and it can happen by man-made. So just the whole episode, the whole purpose of that was to be prepared. Now, I'm doing a lot of podcasting, because there's not watching podcasts. I don't usually watch them that much. There's 414 million podcasts. And of course, this one is the best, but no, not really. And they have some interesting stuff. But more than podcasts, I like watching documentaries. I like learning a lot about everything. And today, I'm going to have a chef on as a guest, talk about food. And if you've been watching these episodes, I always put some of my cooking episodes in. So I'm going to have a chef on. We're going to talk about food. But what I learned today, and it goes in the category of the insanity of humanity, because humans are insane what they're doing to themselves, to each other, to the planet. And there's a saying that goes, believe nothing of what you hear and half of what you see. There's another saying that if it's packaged, don't eat it. And that's why I'm going to talk about food fraud. I just watched a documentary on food fraud. Now we know they make fake Gucci and fake Louis Vuitton and fake Levi's and fake this and fake that and fake the other thing, perfumes. They fake everything. Even with AI, they're faking me talking. It could be me talking. So everything's fake. Now they're faking food because they're making fake hamburgers and fake this, but that they're telling you it's fake. The program I saw, well, they weren't telling everyone. So in Europe, this was a 5-month-old broadcast I watched in the early teens, 2013, I think it was. They had a huge problem. People had smuggled in horse meat into the food. So everyone for years was eating horse meat. It was not totally horse meat, but the ingredients in it were slaughterhouse ingredients, and you don't even want to know. And so I feel all kind of products, lasagna, all across the board. So this whole documentary was on food fraud, and they have a company called Food Watch that tries to monitor and check out what we're eating. I mean, thank goodness for that. Here's one of the key takeaways from this: if it's discounted, because horse meat's half the price of regular meat. So if you find, and that's how they actually discovered the frauds, is that this is too cheap. This shouldn't be. They checked it out, and it was a lot of horse meat in it and other things. Vegetable protein. Some of the meat you're eating does not even have protein in it. So they put vegetable protein in it. It's horrible. But that was in Europe, and I'm sure they're doing the same thing in America and around the world. But this is a European documentary. And they were calling it Horsegate. Remember Watergate? They called this Horsegate. What is this? So counterfeit products, counterfeit food. It's called counterfeit food. It's amazing. And Poland, I guess, it turns out to be the biggest food processor, meat food processor in the world. And they, of course, were at the forefront of the investigation. And then you went on to talk about olive oil, extra virgin olive oil. You think you're eating, drinking, or using extra virgin olive oil? You are not. The poor farmers that have to compete when they make legit olive oil, they're competing with the conglomerates that are importing Spanish, mixing it in, even using non-oils. I mean, what was the term for it? It wasn't even olive oil. I mean, it was just, oh my goodness. And then in Italy, turns out, well, that's the biggest product, olive oil, extra virgin olive oil in Italy. But they're faking the wine, they're faking the cheese. Oh, it's corrupt. And the mafia is behind a lot of this, because where there's money, there's corruption. Where there's corruption, you can find a lot of mafia. Tuscany is where the best extra virgin olive oil comes from. And I feel sorry for these poor farmers that are, they can't compete with the price, because fake olive oil is cheaper. So if you're getting a good price on olive oil, watch what you're buying. Then I went on to talk about tuna. I love tuna. And if it's real red, it's probably injected with nitrates. Nitrates can give you headaches and make you ill, and it also increases the weight of this is water as well. They inject into the fish so it weighs more, so they get more money. It's all about greed. All about greed. So as you know, I usually try to bring you some nice positive information, but sometimes you need to hear the negative so you can wake up, smell the roses, and take action. Because to be happy, we all want to be happy. But if we're not alive by eating the crap and the junk food, oh my God, the junk food. Now, I'm not sure if I read this before. Oh yeah, I did read this one. This was my war episode. I'm looking back on some of my notes for trust. So let's talk about trust. Okay. Usually I do happy quotes, but this episode is about trusting what you're going to eat, trusting that the ingredients in that package, which nobody reads the ingredients, of course, is healthy. And it's not. I heard a report the other day that by 2030, that's a long way away. 2030, half of the world will be obese. Half. Right now it's an eighth, I think, or something like that. I'm obese. Yeah, what can you do? Okay, so let's talk about trust. This is some things about trust. because we have to trust. We try to trust, and to trust yourself is the most important thing. But trust is the firm belief in the reliability, truth, ability, or strength of someone or something. I believe trust breeds trust. Marilyn Monroe once said, "I think I'm crazy, but trust me, I'm 100% there." That's pretty cute. Ernest Hemingway said, "The best way you can find out if you can trust someone is to trust them." I am the most trusting person, been ripped off more times than Carter has pills. And I always told my wife, she should say, "Stop trusting people." I go, one day I'm going to meet someone that I can trust, and it's all going to work out. One lie can ruin 1,000 truths. You know, they say in court, when they catch you in one lie, and all your testimony is thrown out. Because if you lie once, you're going to lie again. The best thing to remember about lying, if you never lie, you don't have to remember a thing. I can't remember a thing. I don't remember what I had for breakfast morning. I just can't remember anything. So obviously I'm not going to lie. And that's not a lie. Stephen King said, "The trust of the innocent is the liar's most useful tool." Freaking liars. As a kind person, and to get happiness in your life, don't lie, steal, cheat, fight, or kill. But if you must lie, lie next to someone that you love. If you must steal, steal away from bad company. If you must cheat, cheat death, as long as you can. If you must fight, fight tyranny. And if you must kill, kill a bad habit. And I'm on a mission to make you happy. That's one of the reasons why I have this series. By the way, that's Belize in the background, in case you're wondering. I'm on the island of Ambergris Key. Did I say that already? I don't remember. That's my mission. If I can make only one person happy, I've accomplished a great deal, but I know I made lots of people happy. And I'm getting more and more compliments. Nothing wrong with getting a compliment. I've been on the island 3 days now, and I've run into a lot of people that are complimenting me on the signs, the Be Kind signs. It's fantastic. There's over 300. There were over 300, but people steal them because they like them. I had a guy even making them and selling them, which I encouraged him to do. So I made a couple new signs. I hung them up today. That was fun. And whenever I've ever hung one of those hundreds of signs, someone always stops and says, "That's fantastic," because it's all positivity. And for a year, no one knew what the Be Kind signs were. They didn't know what the Be Kind signs mean. Now I put a little hint. BeFantastic.today, the Foundation for World Harmony.org, Be Fantastic Facebook, Be Fantastic YouTube, Be Fantastic Instagram. So now they can follow the Be Kind movement, which is now the kindness revolution. So let me see. The best proof of love is trust. Ronald Reagan, friend of mine, dated my mom. Trust but verify. Lao Tzu said, he who does not trust enough will not be trusted." I don't know if that's his accent or not. So let's see who we have. Maybe we'll have one or two chefs as a guest today. As you know, these shows, to make my life easier, I pre-record them. So if you're one of my ambassadors of kindness and you'd love to be interviewed, love to talk about your passion, your NGO, your humanitarian effort, your kids, your sore ankle, whatever you want to talk about. I love interviewing people. And if it's not for this particular show, I also have Be Fantastic YouTube. And that we don't talk about negative things like on the show I'm doing here. We only talk about life, love, and the pursuit of happiness. No politics, no religion, and no business. So without further ado, let's see who we have lined up. Talk about food. And stay tuned for the cooking episodes because they're pretty cool. People keep asking me to make them, so they're obviously liking them. And be kind to yourself, trusting yourself, loving yourself, believing in yourself. Because if you don't love yourself, who the hell's going to love you? Get rid of negative thinking, negative people. It's cancerous to your health. It's all these suggestions are to be taken to the road of happiness, because no one's going to make you happy. You've got to make yourself happy. And that's by thinking positive, by believing in yourself, by loving yourself. And the second commitment is to love all others, try to. It's hard. There's a lot of evil out there. But if there's something really negative, walk away from it. Walk away from danger. You're not coward, you're smart. And tell your girl, if you're a guy, that when there's going to be a confrontation with drunk idiots, I'm going to walk away. I'm not a coward. I'm smart, because I could push them. They could fall down. They could hit their skull. They could die. And then I'm in jail for the rest of my life because I pushed some idiot that didn't even know what he was talking about, was drunk, incoherent, blah, blah, blah. So you're not a coward when you walk away from danger. You're a smart man or woman. So those are some hints for today's episode. Hope you enjoy it. Hope you've been enjoying the last ones. If you want to know more about me and you didn't watch the first episode, so because why should you trust me? Why should you listen to me? Well, I've been around the block a couple times. I've done a lot of different things in my life. I've always looked for challenges. I never liked the easy route. I want to test myself all the time. And I'm never afraid to do anything. I don't have any fear in my life. This fear is false expectations appearing real. And I did a TV show here actually in Belize. Did 8 episodes until I got bored. And my lady friend said, "Aren't you gonna be afraid it might fail?" I laughed. Fail is just first attempt in learning. If it failed, it failed. It didn't fail. It was fantastic. But I'm never afraid to fail, and I don't have any fear. And I encourage you to do that, the same. Believe in yourself. Know it's going to work out. Doesn't work out, it wasn't meant to work out. It's not the end of the world. Okay? So I hope you enjoyed that monologue. It wasn't happiness quotes, but it was still, what can you do? Let me see here. Where am I? Okay, so stay tuned for more positive information, more cooking advice, stories, tales. And maybe I'll just come back and talk about some cooking tales. Thanks for watching, and always like, subscribe, and share if you're bailing now. But stay tuned for the end of the show, because there's a surprise. It's called the ending. Better than a chef, I've got a guy who creates the food that chefs love, and it's called organic food. I'm with Jim Gale. I'm proud to say he's ambassador number 293. Last week we have now over 9,800 ambassadors around the world. He's from Minnesota, but he's coming live from St. Cloud, Florida, where he's built what's called a food forest. We're going to get into that in a little bit. He's turned this piece of land over the last 18 months. Is it 18 months now?
2.5 years total for this piece that I'm at now.
See how time flies? It's been 2.5 years since this was a plot of nothingness. And he's been working diligently every day. You do something that you love every day, and it flowers into some fantastic stuff. And as Jim, this is the complete guide to happiness. Growing fresh fruits, vegetables, herbs, spices makes you very happy, right?
It's epic. I walk outside and I'm in my little Garden of Eden.
So my first question to all my guests, Jim, is how do you define happiness?
For me, it's presence. For me, it's all about being here now and presence. It's about presence is basically elevated above happiness. And through presence, I can basically, I'm the artist for my own story. I'm the author of my own story.
And that's what I love about having all these fantastic ambassadors. They all have fantastic stories, and we're going to reveal yours to the world now. On my other channel, Be Fantastic, I don't talk about anything negative. It's always everything's positive, because there's enough negative news out there in the world. I don't talk politics, religion, or business. But this particular channel, I'm talking religion, I'm talking business, and I'm talking the horrible things that are going on in the world, because if you're not aware of them, you can't make plans. In other words, if electricity goes out, you probably have enough fresh water to survive. You've got plants growing. You've got seeds. You're probably going to be better off than the average Joe, because you've got Shangri-La and you're self-sufficient. People are not self-sufficient. They don't even have candles. How many people do you think have a stock of candles for when the electricity goes out, and it goes out naturally by a storm. I'm on an island right now in Ambergris Key in Belize, and they have storms. One time it was a week without electricity. Could you imagine a week without electricity? People can't go an hour without their internet, or their phones. So knowing I'm going to do this episode, I've been wanting to do one on food for a while. I spent the last day looking at documentaries on food fraud, the corruption in the industry, and it all boils down in what I call the insanity of humanity. It's all about money. All about money. Food has no flavor anymore because they mass produce it. They pick bananas and tomatoes when they're green, which means they don't have the nutrients in them because they haven't fully matured, but they need to ship them across the countries and across the states. So, it'll turn red and yellow, and then you'll like what you see. I just saw a thing on ham. Do you know anything about ham? The process, it's full of nitrates. The nitrates make it pink. They can't sell ham in its regular color. Ham is not pink, but we all know it is pink and it looks delicious and it's lovely and we eat it. It's full of nitrates that are cancerous. They've proven that it's cancerous. It has nitrosamines in it that damages your large intestines, causes cancer, and they won't turn it. Nobody will buy it if it's brown or gray. It's actually gray. No one will buy it. So they have to put nitrates in it so people will buy it because they like pink ham. I mean, that's just the tip of the iceberg. What I've been watching is almost horrendous. It's scary because I always say, and people have said this before, I didn't coin it, if it's in a package, don't eat it.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, if you can't peel it or pluck it or catch it or grow it or harvest it, it's suspect because our food supply chain has been used as a tool of war. And this is not a new thing, right? Back in 1974, Henry Kissinger said, if you want to control nations, control energy. If you want to control the world's currency. But if you want to control people, control food, right? This is the man who was the head of the Council on Foreign Relations. This is the man who met with every U.S. president and appointed Klaus Schwab. Right? This is not just the ramblings of a psychopath. This is the strategy that has been implemented across the globe to control the energy and the actions of humanity.
Well, they're saying that the industrial agricultural business, industrial agriculture, they call it industrial because it's such a mass scale. They put farmers out of business because they were growing healthy food instead of corn. Is part of the military industrial complex.
It's at the top of the pyramid. Well, I think it's good versus evil, but let's go down one rung. BlackRock, basically through their groups of Vanguard and State Street and all of the different corporate entities that they now have investing their money through the computer that runs the world named Aladdin, which is BlackRock's computer. They control the whole thing. And just think, the name BlackRock, right? By their fruits, you shall know them. What do they produce? They produce rotten fruit. And what we're here to demonstrate is freedom on every conceivable level. And this statue says it all. This is the symbol of tyranny, colonialism, the British police baton. And this is the arm of the farmer. And we have this strategically located in a food forest because this system is less maintenance than a lawn and produces way more food than my family needs to thrive. But here's the best part, brother. Not only does this produce enough food for us, but every one of these plants can propagate and produce enough food for the whole world over time. So our mission is to spread this Garden of Eden idea. And we want to do so very strategically. When we integrate the schools and the prisons and the churches, and we use the same amount of resources that we are currently using, but we just use them wisely instead of in a destructive manner, we catalyze a shift in awareness and we can create peace and freedom in a very short amount of time. And it's happening.
Well, on that point, I just read a thing they're called edible schoolyards. You must know about
Yes.
them. And they're
Ooh,
teaching
yes.
children nutrition. They're teaching children how to grow a plant. And it's my goal is to spread kindness with the three commitments: be kind to yourself, others, and the planet. And when you're kind to yourself, you're going to eat healthy. You're going to learn how to grow and how to cook and how to be self-sustainable. So it's
Yeah.
important that, what do they say? If the oxygen mask drops, put it on first, then help others. If Jim Gale's not alive, he can't be of service to his country, to his family, to that plot of land there, to his God, whatever. So you got to come first, but we got to educate everybody, and that's what this program is about. First off, we want to educate people on how to be happy, and growing your own food and being self-sufficient is got to be on the top of the list of being happy.
This is what we're here to do. We're here to be the stewards of this earth. One of the fundamental deceptions is that people are the problem and that people need to be culled and that there's too many people on this planet. That's a lie. Now, is it a half truth? Yes, it is. Right? Do people harm this planet and each other? Yes, they do. But there's something else going on. So when we demonstrate, and by the way, scarcity is the catalyst for fear, which is the catalyst for war, right? So there's only one thing that defeats scarcity, and that is abundance. And people often say to me, Jim, you've got so much food. You have food security. You're so lucky. I say, well, first of all, I don't grow any of this, right? I grew up in Minnesota, so I use the word God. If somebody grew up on another planet, another side of the world or whatever, and they use a different word, that's fine. I don't hate them. I simply say, okay, cool. What would your God think that this is beautiful? Well, mine sure does, at least based on my perception. So when we bring back stewardship and the logical use of our building soil, building life, building nutrition, well, food security is when my neighbor's kids are eating. Food security is when the people in Palestine and Israel are eating. Food security is when people all over the world have enough to eat. And then we take out the force and violence of property taxes, which we do not, we very publicly have declared that we are free and we do not pay by the threat of force and violence. Taxes, instead, we voluntarily serve our community. And we put food force at a local school. We're working with the local churches. We're working with the local business leaders. And we're creating a completely self-reliant community here in St. Cloud, Florida. And everything we do is open source. It can all be scaled. And our whole point, our whole intention, our mission is to do like what you do, Dr. Fantastic, is you spread a very positive message that can go viral because it should, because everybody wins.
Breaking news, Charles Manson, the infamous cult leader who led a string of murders in the 1960s.
Want to get back to, you mentioned the soil. Beneath all is the land, and on that land is soil, and then soil are nutrients, and nutrients equal flavor. So if you're eating something without any flavor, you're not eating any nutrients. And I saw a study where it's like from the 30s, it's literally half and sometimes more nutrients in our fruits and vegetables because of mass production. So I want to talk about soil, how important it is, because when you use a field, a crop, and the nutrients are gone, then they have to use chemicals or and certain things to make things grow, which are cancerous and very unhealthy.
Yeah, exactly. The soil is the foundation of food, of life on our planet. And if we mine soil, like you brought up this industrial agriculture, everything that we've been taught in our colleges and universities about how to grow food is, at least in the last several generations, is wrong. And at the highest levels, it's a straight up lie. It's a strategy of war, right? We don't mine soil. In fact, 2.5 years ago, the place I'm standing on now was nothing but sand. There was no butterflies. There was no birds. There wasn't one bit of green anything here. It was just dead soil that came from a 3.5 acre hole we dug, which is now a pond full of 7 species of fish. And we built that land up here. So healing our soil, if that's all we did was heal the soil and take the poisons out, then nature, God's design, would create radical abundance all over the world again.
It's amazing. And people can take this to a smaller scale by ripping out their lawn, which is just a waste of energy, unless they're really playing on it. I mean, we play on it when we're maybe 3 years old. When we grow up, we're riding bikes and we're leaving the house. But that 1 yard would produce a lot of oxygen, would produce healthy food, flavorful food. It's just amazing what you can do with such a small, and then they have hydroponics. Let's say you don't even have but a balcony or a rooftop. You can do it with water. You don't have to have soil.
That's exactly right. And soil is the easiest to play with because if you just give it a little catalyst, right? If you put some ground cover, some mulch on top, and you put some soil around it, some good soil, right, that you can get at a local nursery, and you put a food producing plant in the ground, right? Around me here, we have 260 different types of food producing plants. This is hog plum, and this is cherry, and that's mulberry, and that's turmeric. In fact, talk about treasure hunting. Look at this. This is nature's candy right here. Here's a cherry right here. Isn't that just amazing?
All right. I love picking fresh fruit off trees. I planted I live in Antigua, as you know. I planted an avocado tree. So I didn't enhance the soil with that you can buy at the store. I'm just using the organic soil that's from the volcano, but I'm putting compost right around the tree. It shells. That's helping it, right?
Yeah. Oh, big time. And you can tell by observing and interacting with this system. I can look at a tree now, and it's not hard to do, by the way. You could look at a tree and say that tree looks healthy, or that tree doesn't look healthy. And it's so easy now with the internet. You can take a picture or a 10-second video, and you can post that online on a growing permaculture site. And within minutes, you might have a dozen replies on how to help you help that plant out. It's so easy now to create abundance. And I want to share something with you. So I just ate a cherry, right? And now there's seeds. Where's my little thing? See the seed there?
Yeah.
So you can count the seeds in a cherry. In this case, there's 3 seeds in this type of cherry.
3?
Right?
Wow.
Yeah. But you cannot count the cherries in a seed. So this one seed can produce infinite, exponential amount of more food. And by the way, this is medicine. This is the highest concentration of vitamin C of any plant, or at least that's what I've been told. And so it's also medicine. Let thy food be thy medicine. Let thy medicine be thy food. We don't need medicine when we simply eat poison-free food.
Yeah, they are poisoning our food. I'm watching way too many documentaries on greed because they're injecting things. I mean, I was just as an example, you would think well, the French eat really well for their kids in schools, and they spend less money per child on a nutritious meal than America does with its junk food. And the junk food is all because of corporate greed, because of lobbying, and they're paying scientists to prove that Coke is good, that this is good, and that is good. It's just all corruption to the highest degree. I think our new president is going to, and John F. Kennedy, who I actually know personally, is going to do a lot of good for that. But in Italy, they have most magnificent olive oil from Tuscany, and they can't compete anymore, the local farmers, because the big subsidies come in and they're faking it. If you're buying a cheap olive oil and it says double virgin or whatever, it's not real. It's fake. You pay
Same
for
with
what you
honey.
get. There's an old saying in life. They're faking the wines. They're
Yeah.
faking the cheese. They fake the clothes, of course. They fake everything. Cars. Everything's being faked for
Yep.
greed, for money,
Yep.
so they can make more money. But
Yep.
let's stick to foods. The counterfeit foods. It's just off the
Honey.
charts.
Yeah.
Tuna. It's injected with nitrates. I think I talked about that earlier. And it's injected with water, so it weighs more, so they can get more money. It's just it's horrific. It's
You
so
know,
bad.
it,
It's the
it
insanity of
is.
humanity.
Yeah, it's really it's horrific, and it's also the most incredible opportunity in the history of humanity, because either we keep going on the path we're on with deforestation and mass extinction and cancer and diabetes and heart disease and Alzheimer's and autism, or we change our course. So I met with Bobby Kennedy. I sat down, him and I just the two of us sat down, and I laid out the Maha strategy over a year ago, about 6 months before he announced the Maha strategy. And here it is. It's a very public strategy. I've made it very public. The Maha strategy is simple. Imagine when somebody of his caliber and the administration right now, imagine when they get together and they call on and call up the schools. Let's just start with the schools. That was my first campaign strategy that I talked to him about. I said the first thing we do is we invite the schools to take the poisons out of the school lunches and school land. And you can make the claim that the children will heal, that diabetes and all of these things that kids are suffering from, those trends will be reversed within a year when we take the poisons out of the school lunches and school land, and when the children go outside and put their hands in the dirt. And this is not a hypothetical situation, Monty. This has been proven all over the world, right? So that's just one campaign strategy. And the next one was the prisons. The next one was the churches. And the next one is the foreign army bases all around the world. And this, I believe, had something to do with the Maha strategy, which we are in big support of.
I came up with, I don't know if you know or been following my texts, but I came up with what's called the Global Kindness Pledge.
I love
it. I want you to read it. Can you read this off the screen?
I pledge to be kind and to love myself, pledge to be kind and to drive to love all others. I pledge to be kind, to love, and to respect our Mother Earth. We are all fantastic. You are fantastic. I am fantastic. Boom.
Do you feel the power of that?
It's beautiful.
You know, I knew Bobby Kennedy some years ago. I met him on John Paul's yacht. We became friends. He actually invited me to go hunting, and I lost his number. So if you can help me get back to him, because he's going to love this. Trump is going to love this. It's not political, it's not commercial, and it's not religious. It's a pledge for our future for kindness. And by educating people on the three commitments, be kind to yourself, be kind to others, be kind to Mother Earth, it's educating them on how to eat healthy, how to grow a plant, how to think positive, all the things that we got to start with the children. Now,
Yeah.
of course, I agree that the prisons could use that same pledge. The churches certainly could use it, but my focus is the children. Every classroom should say that pledge every day, because it builds self-confidence, it fosters camaraderie, it builds energy to the room, it teaches them the value of words, like the word fantastic. You know how special that is. It reduces stress, anxiety, and depression, makes you look and feel fantastic, brings happiness, and it makes you aware of the problems with our environment, with society. You know, we got to protect our planet, because being happy, which this show's all about, it's not going to be if we don't have the food, or we don't have the atmosphere.
Exactly.
I mean, we've destroyed our rivers, our streams, our lakes, our oceans, our seas, our lands, our atmosphere, and now outer space. There's not much less to destroy. You know, the Pacific Ocean's irradiated from Fukushima. It's this, I call it the insanity of humanity. I can't say it often enough. Getting to Trump, I wish I could sit down with Trump, because I've got some plans. I'm trying to save the planet, not just America. I'm disappointed with America. I'm disappointed with humanity. But there is solutions, like people like Jim, you have a great solution. Take your balcony indoor. You can grow it indoors, for Christ's sakes, right? You could have grow lamps, and people grow marijuana indoors, right? So you can grow it
Yep,
indoors.
they sure do. They've taught us the way.
And then go ahead.
You brought up prisons, and because what we're talking about here is a well-defined strategy with the tactics. So you said this isn't political, this isn't this and that. This is the idea whose time has come stronger than all of the armies of the world, as Victor Hugo said 200 years ago. This is not only in alignment with all things good, but it is also the ultimate military strategy, is mass adoption. So to give you some really incredible details, I was just on the phone yesterday, the day before, with Andre Norman. Andre Norman spent 14 years in maximum security prison. He was a bad guy. He then told his mom he made prison boss. His mom wasn't happy with him, and that put him into a tizzy. He went and tried to kill somebody again, and then he went to solitary confinement. He then had an epiphany, or maybe a message from God while he was in solitary confinement, said, you're going to get out and go to Harvard, and you're going to do good. So he did. So that was 25 years ago, about 2 weeks ago. And he's now the world leader in prison reform. We are working with him. We went and visited a prison, Trousdale Turner in Tennessee. It was amazing, going into the maximum security, toughest block in the whole prison, and every other block. And every inmate that I talked to said this is the best idea they've heard all. They want to learn how to be productive. So what we're doing is we're creating strategies and implementation systems to bring gardening and food forestry and the wisdom of permaculture, which is the science of gardening nature's way, into every prison in the United States and then the world. And as a result, and this is not a hypothetical, this has been proven over and over again, as a result, the crime, the recidivism will drop by between 70 and 90% within 3 to 4 years.
Well, they've got prison systems in, I think it's Copenhagen or whatever. They don't even have walls. I mean, it's such an amazing dichotomy of how we can treat people, but we just need, it's education. So I'm hoping that you and I will work together in adopting the 3 commitments into the prison system, because the 3 commitments literally solve all mankind's problems. And I think it's simple, because humanity is stupid, or we wouldn't be in the predicament we're in if we were really smart. Of course, we got great technologies. We've got spaceships that are flying for the last 30 years and still communicating with us. It's some brilliant stuff, but the food is like, we need the food to survive. And we're producing it without any flavor, just so we can make money. So it's not even feeding people. Nutrients don't feed people. The obesity is off the charts. I live in Antigua, and all around the world I've seen this. All the cheapest tiendas or stores have the junk food hanging in their front door. So before you even walk in the front door, you have the junk food, and then at the cash register, you have the junk food. And these documentaries that are coming out, I'm not sure if I want to watch any more of them, because it's scary, and it's almost like the prison thing. Remember the movie Scared Straight? They brought the prison to say, this is how your life's going to be if you steal, lie, cheat, and it's a bitch.
It's a bitch. And by the way, I just want to share the permaculture ethics and what you've stated are exactly aligned. In permaculture, the 3 ethics are earth care, people care, and reinvesting our surplus to earth care and people care. Right now, our surplus gets stacked in the hands of the 0.001% instead of logically distributing that surplus to everybody. And right now, for the first time, several very wealthy people are starting to recognize that the most logical and self-serving thing that they could do is invest some of their surplus into creating healthy living systems like the one I'm sitting in now. And then when we get this scale and these models put up in enough places with enough visibility, well, we solve mass extinction, deforestation, and cancer, and diabetes, and heart disease, and tyranny all of it, by simply creating these beautiful landscapes. People come here and they feel good. They're like, oh my God, there's butterflies all around me right now. There's all this life. Who doesn't smile when a butterfly flies by?
I got lots of butterflies in my garden, maybe because I planted a garden.
Yeah.
You know, we're learning so much, and we have so much more to learn. You know, they lobbied the congressman to show that cigarette smoking was healthy. And because they made more money if you bought more cigarettes, and it's the same all the way down the line with every little thing that we buy. I think the new government in America is going to get rid of that bureaucracy, the lobbyism, because it's all about money. It comes down to the damn dollar. You know, it's horrific.
It is her, and it's the structure of the system where we forgot about this earth care and people care thing. And so here's what I like to get this point across, because it's so foreign to us, is that the most selfish thing that I could do, the most self-serving thing that I could do, if I was a complete psychopath and I didn't actually care about the hearts and the minds and the health of my neighbors, still the most selfish thing I could ever do is provide abundance for them, because people are awesome. People are fantastic. People are reciprocal. And the more we serve people, the more they want to serve us back. So when we very openly and transparently give and give and give, it becomes this incredible wheel of abundance, and everybody can create their own wheel of abundance.
You know, it kind of reminds me of what we spoke off camera, farmers markets that started in the 70s. And there was like, when it was in 1977, there were 600 of them because they had just gotten going. And in 2007, there were 4,385 in America alone. And that was 17 years ago. So I can only imagine there's tens of thousands of farmers market. When I left on my journey 5 years ago, I went through a lot of our states and saw a lot of farmers markets, and they're really kind people. People who are at a farmers market aren't greedy. They're doing it for the love of health, for the love of their neighbors, for the love of humanity, I guess you could say, because they're not getting rich. You know, I mean, people think, I travel around the world and about happiness and kindness, and I ask what would make people happy, and they seem to think, the poorer they are, the more they think that money is going to make them happy.
Yeah.
And you and I both know that that's not the case. You know, I had money and it brought me nice yachts and nice fun things, but it does not bring you happiness.
Yeah,
Doing what
that's
you're
for sure.
doing is bringing you happiness. Getting out there and seeing the and picking a piece of fruit off like you did. I'm so jealous because it's fantastic.
It's amazing. You know, same thing happened to me. I started a mortgage company back when I was 30. I'm 55 here on Christmas Eve. And so it was a while ago. And within about 4 years, the company did $1.3 billion in revenue. I bought a 42-foot Carver motor yacht, lived on the ocean for a year. That's when I found Costa Rica. And that's when I learned that the system is unsustainable and all unsustainable systems fail. And I had my first two daughters. And I went into a period of scarcity where I studied the problem like a nut for a couple of years. And then I read Bill Mollison's quote. He's one of the founders of permaculture, which means permanent culture. It's a sustainable agricultural design science. And his quote was this: though the problems of our world are increasingly complex, the solutions remain embarrassingly simple. And I started to bawl.
Got that. Do you read my quotes every day that I send out?
Sometimes.
Sometimes, Jim. That's what kills me. Everyone's so busy. It's a free quote. It's from someone famous in history. And I add one of mine because I'm a philosopher. And I mean, Jim, come on.
I
It's
do a
5
lot.
seconds. 5 seconds.
I've read a lot of them. They're beautiful, brother. I love the work you're doing is just fantastic, which is more than a word, as you know.
Well, we've got a community now, and in that community, we have people like you that's doing the food for us. We've got a guy named Dr. Young who does Go Green, who's planted millions of trees. He's going to be one of my interviews. We've got people like John Paul DeJoria, the billionaire I interviewed last week. It's got Peace, Love, and Happiness Foundation. He's feeding 50,000 or 17,000 people a day over in Africa. We've got people like Johan from the Grenada, St. George's Island, where he's going to travel the world. You're going to like this. I don't know if you know about it yet. He's traveling the world in 365 days. He's going to visit all 195 countries with 17 semis, each representing an SDG, that we need to adopt. By the way, the 3 commitments to kindness, the 17 SDGs fit into the 3 commitments. Literally, I kept it simple for humans.
Yeah.
5-year-olds, I got 5-year-olds around the world that are ambassadors of kindness. You don't need a phone to be an ambassador. You just need to follow the 3 commitments, be kind to yourself, others, and our planet. They can remember it like that.
Yeah.
Nobody can recite. You can't recite the 10 commandments right now. I don't care how religious you are. You get to about 8 and you get stumbled. If you can't remember them or off the top of your head, what good are they? 3 commitments solve all the problems. Again, we used to work closer together. We haven't talked in a while, but the 3 commitments fall into what you're doing. Be kind to yourself. Eat healthy. Think healthy, and be kind to others. Help them, show them how to grow a garden, share your food with them. I mean, what are we going to do? Humans are, what's the word I'm looking for? We need interaction. We want to break bread with our neighbors, with our family. I mean, food to me, I'm getting fat, by the way, because I'm eating so much. I'm such a great chef. By the way, every one of these episodes has one of my cooking episodes from around the world.
Awesome.
And I know you don't even have time to read my quotes, so you're never going to have time to even watch your own episode, but that's fine. You're doing a fantastic thing, what you're doing. I don't know if we covered all the negative things that are going on the planet.
Oh, that would take us years. That would take us days.
It would take years.
Yes. Well, here's what we're covering. Bucky Fuller said you cannot change things by fighting the existing reality. Instead, you must create a new model that makes the current model obsolete. Well, what we're creating is not really the new model. In fact, it's the oldest model in the book, but it is a model that creates abundance, which literally is the only answer to global suffering, to global health, to global war, to global famine. And this is the part where I really want to drive this home. It's relatively easy. It's so easy. We just got to take the fear out, the fear of nature, the fear of God's design, the fear of abundance. And we have to allow nature to do what nature does, and that is provide abundance.
Well, it's the new consciousness, what I'm calling it. And I relate it to 2 words: be kind. If you're kind to the soil, it's gonna bring you great nutrients, which is great flavor, which is great health. And the hybrids and the fake foods. By the way, I wanted to mention before I forgot this. A kilo of tomato seeds costs 400,000 euro. It's double the price of gold. And these are I mean, it's just there's so much information out there. It's my head's exploding. Tomatoes, one of the the top fruits. Is it a fruit or a vegetable?
It's a fruit, but people get that confused. It's a darn good plant when you grow it naturally.
And it has flavor if you grow it naturally. It literally has no flavor. It looks red, and they have a bounce test for tomato. They want it not to bruise. The hybrids now last 3 weeks without even no problem. A regular tomato lasts 3 days. And it's beautiful. It's red. It's got a great nice green stem, but it's got no flavor. And that's again, no one's gonna buy a slice of ham that's gray, which is natural, but they're gonna beat it with the nitrates, and I think they want to kill off a lot of people because there's too many people. They
have an agenda.
New world order. I mean,
Oh, it's very clear. Their agenda is public. Anybody could go find their agenda, and anybody can go watch Billy G on stage holding up what he calls medicines and says, if we do a good job with this, we can decrease the world's population by 10 to 15%. I'm like, what are you talking about? It's so obvious, but it's also such a contrary idea that we've been programmed to believe that the government and the structures that are the pillars of our society are there to support and serve us. Well, that is one of the fundamental lies as well. What will support and serve us is nature and each other, right? So, and there is a possibility that we have a grid down situation, that the supply chains stop because they're unsustainable, right? It's a fact that the way we are using our soil and our resources is unsustainable. It's
Right.
also super easy to change it. So, what everybody should do right now is start growing a little bit of food until you get hooked, like most of us. And then you'll start growing more, and then share your seeds with your neighbors and inspire and empower them to grow food. And that's what we're doing at scale with churches, schools, and prisons, and then getting the message out everywhere.
Edible schoolyards, like we talked earlier.
Yeah.
I grew a lettuce a few months ago, and it was such a joy to get a couple leaves of lettuce and have a fresh salad. It was quite a joy. I planted carrots, tomatoes, and cilantro recently. I'm not in Belize now, so I'm not sure how they're doing, but I think I needed to treat the soil, even though it's very rich from the volcanic area, you know. But I want to talk about minerals for a second. One of my ambassadors was in America. He passed since a year or so ago, but he came up with what's called the correct mineral balance. We're born with a mineral balance in nature, and with the correct mineral balance, you'll never get sick, you'll never get a cold, you'll never get a disease, you'll never get cancer. But we eat the junk food, and we eat the nitrates, and we eat unhealthy things, so we don't have that balance anymore. And so when we have a failure of a kidney or this or that, people want to replace it or take it out. No, you need to treat it, not take it out. And it's treatable if you get the right mineral balance. Do you know much about the mineral balance of the human body?
Quite a bit. I've been studying it now for a couple decades, and I'm 55 years old. I just did about 33 pull-ups. I've never felt better in my life because I've taken the poisons out. That's the number one thing for everybody to start with. If people use True Green or Massey or any of these companies to come and spray your lawn with poisons, stop it right now. Call them up and say, I don't need that anymore. Right. And then supplant half of your lawn with fruit trees and berry bushes. And if you have a fence, at the bottom of the fence, plant grapevines and passion fruit vines and other vining plants. And if you want to create medicine in your yard, plant medicinal plants. Now, almost all fruits that are grown naturally are medicinal. And by the way, we have cows and chickens and ducks and turkeys and bees and fish. So it's a completely integrated natural system. And that's where the power is, because it's so little maintenance that we literally just walk around, and when we want food, it takes us 10 minutes to have a handful of food.
Well, they say everything that grows on the planet has a purpose, a medicinal purpose.
Yeah.
Some kind of healthy purpose. It's
Except
amazing
GMOs.
that you see something like an artichoke. How the hell did they figure out how to eat that damn thing?
Yeah, right? It's been manipulated. And some of the changes are good. You know, you take two types of things that you love and you put them together, and you might get some you love even more, right? That's just playing with nature. But when you take the ability for a plant to produce seeds that germinate and create next year's crop, when you take that ability out by modifying it so it can only be used with poisons, well, that's pure evil.
That's GMO, right?
Yes. Yes.
Well, what do you think about Monsanto? Is that the devil's incarnate or what?
Well, if evil and live, right? I don't say good and evil. I say live and evil. It's backwards, right? Evil is no life. Evil leads to death. Well, then Monsanto is absolutely pure evil.
Yeah, it's a shame what they've done. They actually invented Agent Orange, I guess, and napalm.
Yep.
Along with, and they want to control as far as greed goes, they want to control everybody. So they put farmers out of business if they don't buy their seeds, which are modified seeds. They're not. It's all about the seed, right? I mean, the seed is the ultimate organism.
It's amazing that little tiny seed can turn into enough food to feed the world over time, right? Like this food forest, if we left this and came back in 30 years and did nothing else, this food forest would extend for hundreds of miles. And people say, what are you talking about? That doesn't make sense. Well, yeah, it does. The wind will come in and blow seeds. Birds will come in and they'll eat a raspberry or a cherry here, and they'll go on the other side of the lake and they'll poop. And now we've got a new cherry tree coming up, right?
Right.
It's expansive. The amount of energy that it has taken and coordination to create the world of scarcity that we live in, I believe it can be nothing other than good versus evil. And this is the game we're playing. So let's win the game. And the Garden of Eden will be our prize everywhere.
Yeah, there's plenty enough resources on the planet to feed everybody, but that's going against whenever you come up with something like free energy, and they're coming up with it soon, but they've been sequestering it because it goes against the industrial military complex. It goes against the money people. Free electricity. I mean, it's like it's the evil incarnate. You know, I mean, come on.
It is. I'm so glad you brought up free energy. So if I could show you a free energy system for humans that would create exponential free energy, what do you think? Would that be a world changer?
Of course.
Okay, I'm sitting
But
in
they're
it.
going to kill you before you get it to market because it goes against the money.
So, okay, I'm gonna share something with you. So I just ate a cherry. I don't need to go pick another one, but I just ate a cherry. What do humans run on? We run on calories. That right there is a free energy system for humans, and I don't have to do anything, and it's exponential free energy. For the rest of my life, my great grandkids can be eating cherries off this tree in 50 years from now. That free energy system, nature is a free energy system, and it's
Right.
infinite.
Yeah. What's the one food, to see if you how well you are versed on food, the one food where you burn more calories than you intake by eating it?
Celery?
Yeah, very good. You know your shit.
I just got lucky on that one. So it's so beautiful to just know that we have all of the wisdom is all around us to change the world, to radically change. And this is happening. Like, I have actually never been so optimistic. And I do want to share one real quick story. So we've declared that we are free. We built 10 homes here without asking for permission. A government agent came here a year ago, and I walked up to him and I turned on my camera and I recorded the conversation. And he was standing in front of my house asking to see building permits. And so I walked up to him and I said, "Hi, my name is Jim Gale, and I'm recording this conversation so we don't mix up any words here." And he said, "Hi, my name's Alexi." I said, "It's nice to meet you, Alexi, but how did you get permission to come on this land? Implied consent is not granted, and it's posted all over the place." And he said, "I'm sorry, the gate was open, so I just came in, but I will leave if you want me to." Which, by the way, and I did not expect him to say that. I expected him to puff up and say, "I'm from the government and I have the right to be here," which is both lawfully and legally not true. But anyway, I said, "Well, before you leave, I'd like to show you something." So I walked him from the construction zone into the food forest here. And I said, "It is our duty to be the stewards of this land and to protect and serve this land." And he had a clipboard. I said, "What your little check mark clipboard will allow us to do, and what you will even subsidize, is the use of poisons on this land. You will allow us to cut everything and kill everything and create biological death zones, as reflected in every community up and down the road that you have approved." I said, "We are here to do it right, and you have lost your moral authority. We are happy to work with you, but you cannot tell us how to do things." And he had a tear in his eye, brother. He said, "I am sorry, you are 100% right, and I will never bother you again."
Now you came up with the keyword subsidize. That's the corruption. That's the corrupt word, because they're subsidizing the big pharma. They're subsidizing, the industrial agricultural business, and they're not subsidizing the little farmer who's doing the right thing.
No, they're not. And we don't need subsidies. We just need a market. So what we're doing now, and everything I'm sharing is free for everybody. That you could share any of my videos. Like, everything we do is open source.
Open
So
source.
what we're doing now is we're creating a CSA model. And by the way, there are already many, and CSA means community supported agriculture. It's like a co-op. So there are many models that are awesome. our model is we're going to take on 40 families in this area. We're going to charge them $350 a month. And in return for $350 a month, they're going to get between 500 and 800 bucks worth of food a month. And they are going to have classes twice or 4 times a month. They're going to be able to come here and harvest. But here's the best part. We're going to give them starts and seeds and plants, and we're going to help them turn their own yard into a food production paradise.
That's
And
great.
we want everybody to copy our model, because why
Sure.
not? Everybody wins.
Yes. Open source is that's the kind thing to do. Musk was the first one to really, well, or was it who was it that just came out with free source? I think it was Musk. Yeah.
Yeah, he did. Yes.
And I want everyone to steal fantastic from me. You know,
Yes.
what is the big speaker? What's his name?
Tony Robbins.
Tony Robbins. He now says, if you say the word fantastic, you feel fantastic.
Yeah,
So
that's
I'm
awesome.
glad people were copying it because it's an amazing word. To be fantastic means you're gonna lie, steal, cheat, fight, or kill. You heard my saying on this one. But if you must lie next to someone that you love. If you must steal away from bad company. If you must cheat death. If you must fight tyranny. And if you must kill a bad habit, which is eating the junk food that we're forced to eat because it's cheaper. I mean, I myself am fall victim to it. I'd love to eat an apple, but sometimes when I didn't have the money, a bag of chips was 10 times cheaper.
Yeah. And how ridiculous is that when apple trees and pear trees and plum trees and avocados, like we have 260 different types of food producing plants all around me here.
Wow.
And I don't grow them. I don't need to do anything. Nature, when you design it and set it up right, irrigation at the beginning, just to make sure the root systems get settled and the system gets created. After that, the system is on its own. You know, the Amazon.
Don't you have to prune now? Isn't it pruning to get a better yield?
Yeah, if you want to get a better yield, pruning is good. And then you can turn pruning into grafting, where when you cut a stick off one tree, you can use a certain technique to put that in the ground, and now you have another tree. So you just turn pruning into a business model, which everybody wins.
That's like me. I'm an eco artist. I take trash and make beautiful things out of it. You take a tree that you just pruned and make another tree out of it.
Yep.
It's fantastic.
It's so cool.
What a great time we live in. I hope we make it through it, you know.
Yeah.
I just think there's too much idiocy out there and too much evil and too much greed. If we just keep the greed button in check, you know, and we might have a chance. I just pray that we get our shit together, man.
Yep. And I'm going to share this message with all the wealthy out there, all the billionaires out there. The greediest thing that you could ever do, and the most selfish thing at the same time, because there's no scarcity in this design, nature, God's design. The most greedy thing you could ever do is start putting food forests, first of all, around all of your properties. And then those become nurseries that feed the neighborhoods, right? These people that are building bunkers underground, they're completely detached from what's going on, right?
Right.
You cannot hide from this.
Well, you can hide for a finite amount of time,
Yeah.
because even if you build the most expensive bunker, and they have multi-million-dollar bunkers that are equipped for maybe 5 years worth of food and water, right?
Yeah.
That's 5 years. If we have nuclear war, 5 years ain't cutting much.
Yep. Even if it's a lifetime, it's not the lifetime I want to live. I would rather live out and have these butterflies land on my arm.
You know what? It's funny you should say that, because the butterflies, to me, it looks like they have ADD, because there's like really just
Yeah.
and they never seem to land. Very rarely do they land. But last week I did a video on it. One landed on my knee.
Yeah.
Flew off, went back on twice, and then because it was hanging up my knee so long, I put my finger to it. It crawled on my finger.
Oh, that's awesome.
Nature is just the most amazing thing.
It is.
And I got it on video too, because if I didn't document my last 5 years traveling around the globe, you've been following me for that long, nobody would believe the things I've done, the people I've met, and the places I've been. It's just pretty remarkable. And there are a lot of kind people out there. We need more kindness. We need more than 9,800 in this little community of ours. But you know, everything happens in life as it should, when it should. You know, I think I've called out to you a number of times to do an interview, and you never responded because you're busy doing your thing. But I called you the old school way. I'm going to pick up the phone and call Jim.
There,
And
and
you
boom,
answered, and you
instant.
said, let's do the interview.
Yes, it was instant, brother. I love, always have loved your energy, and yeah, it's a beautiful time to be alive. When people are stuck in fear or shame or pride or any of these low energy systems, this, Tesla said, if you want to find the secrets of the universe, think in terms of energy, frequency, and vibration. But there's one word off in that statement. Don't think, but feel, right? If we want to experience the secrets of the universe, then take a deep breath and feel the energy, frequency, and vibration. And then when you do that, you start elevating. And so we're in this time of mass awakening. The apocalypse means lifting the veil, right? It's all happening where people are waking up faster than ever. And we're starting to realize that nobody's going to come and save us. That's the most disempowering bunch of bullshit I've ever heard. It's up to us to take our own power, God's power, the power of who we are inside, the fantastic power that we have, and then do good with it.
Well, that's why I say the first commitment, the hardest commitment, the most important commitment in your life is to be kind to yourself. And that's manifesting positivity, saying, I am fantastic every day. Imagine if you looked in the mirror every day and say, I am fantastic, along with the other ones, like I'm healthy, I'm vibrant, I'm giving, I'm loving, and all those other things that you want to be. But people look in the mirror and say, I'm a loser, I'm fat, I'm ugly, I'm broke, blah, blah, blah. So they're manifesting a negative point of view. We've got to manifestate a new world order, a new consciousness, which is being kind to our planet, being kind to one another, being kind to ourselves. Not in that order. I say there's an order of importance, because if Jim Gale is not alive, well or happy, he can't be of service to that farm, to your family, to your God. I think I've said this already. So you have to come first. Then, and I believe that if there's a God, that God's inside you. So that's covering the God angle. Number two is planting a tree in and of itself is being kind to humanity, because it's the oxygen that we breathe. And then being kind to Mother Earth is being kind to the soil so she can make a delicious fruit, vegetable, herb, spice, all those things. Do you plant carrots, all the other things like that?
Yeah. We don't do as many annuals. We do some. Annuals, by the way, are plants you plant and then you take the seeds and you replant. Right. Perennials, like turmeric and mulberries and cherries and all this stuff, these are plants that you plant one time and they will produce generations to come. In fact, there's some olive trees on the Greek Isle of Crete that have been producing olives for over 2,500 years.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, the oldest thing on the planet is a tree.
Yeah, that's amazing.
The organism on the planet is a tree. I think it's a redwood.
Yep. Yeah. So I'd love to get you here. And
well, are you near Miami? Because I might have to come to America.
Yeah. Well, we're about, let me see, 3 hours. We're near Orlando. We're 40 minutes from the Orlando International. And I would share, we've got a miracle situation going on here. We are on a private 430-acre lake where we've got the only dock on the lake. And then there's a mile-long paved runway that borders the east of our property. And the vision is world leaders, the good ones, are going to be landing here and parking their jets right here. And they're going to come in and we're going to have conferences on the strategy and tactics that it'll take to create abundance everywhere, which will end the war narrative.
Well, that's a grand vision. We have to have dreams. We have to have visions. I dream of a kinder world, and I got to get to the world leaders. If you could, hopefully you'll invite me to these events, because everybody needs to hear about the 3 commitments. I made it so simple. It's stupid simple. KISS. Keep it simple, stupid, And there's not a problem on the planet that isn't solved by one of the 3 commitments.
Yeah, you're right.
I've been doing it. You know me. I've been doing this for many years now, and I've got it down to. I'm really getting right now, Jim. I'm happy to say the level of ambassadors joining. Get it quicker, because a lot of times people would say about kindness, invite them to be an ambassador. They actually say, "What's in it for me?" They actually say that, and I like people that say, "How can I help?" Yeah, and that's how if we all work together, we all, and then in this community, I don't think I need more than 9,800, quite honest with you, because we've got you, we've got the most amazing people that I've been fortunate enough to meet in my life, that are contributing and not just taking. I just did a thing today. I made a little bench in the community here. It's called Give and Get.
Nice.
Bench, and it says donate the stuff you don't want and pick the stuff up you need. Free.
That's beautiful.
Give and get. Because
Yep.
it's better to give than to get.
Yeah, it is. I mean, and the more we give, the more there's reciprocation. And I want to share another real quick thing with everybody listening. So right now I'm standing in our med bed.
And you're
Have you
barefoot.
heard of this new thing
You're
called med
barefoot.
beds?
Barefoot's very important.
Yeah.
Earthing
Yeah.
and grounding. Yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah.
What is it?
Have you heard of med beds?
Med beds. No.
Okay, well, there's this new technology that has to do with frequency that is supposed to help you heal. And I think that may or may not be true. It sounds like there's some good anecdotal evidence that they work, but I like this med bed. Anybody can make a med bed. And so I'm using different types of moss, and I'm also turning it into a podcast studio. So this will be where we do podcasts, and it's got copper, it's got electroculture around it, and all sorts of different healing plants. When you stand here, and I've asked probably hundreds of people by now that just in the last few months that I do tours, and everybody who stands here says it feels good. And it's a healing feeling.
Well, we're electrical beings, and the planet's electrical. They say if you put a copper post into the ground and you ran a wire to your toe when you sleep at night, that's gonna help heal a lot. But grounding and earthing, the same concept. We're grounding our chi to the earth. And too many people are living in concrete jungles. They never even take their shoes off to walk on grass. You got to walk on grass, dirt, or sand to be grounded. And you got to ground yourself as often as possible. So there's things that we're learning, and the consciousness of what we're learning, that we're just an atom and we're all one. And when we get that concept that we're not enemies and we're not adversaries, and we're all humans, which is the lowest species on to me on the planet. Dolphins have a lot more brain power than we do, but I think we're going to get there. I really hope we're going to get there. And people like you and me and others that I know and in this community, I'm inviting everyone. You don't need a phone or internet to be an ambassador of kindness. We've got over, I think, 400 orphans now in Uganda and Ghana that are just kids that are in schools that are being taught the 3 commitments. They're going to be kind to themselves, others. And so they're listed on World Kindness list, like everyone like you. And you're number 293 of 9,800. And as of today, is every day, 9,871. So by the end of my trip here, because everyone's really joining quickly, we'll be at 10,000.
Boom. That's a world changer, brother. I love it.
And so small a number, though, Jim, it's embarrassing. But I interview one person a week. Like you might, this one will air in a couple of weeks from now. And I realized I'll never be able to interview them all, because if they just stayed at 10,000, let's say, it would take me about 300 years to interview one a week. Maybe it won't live that long.
Yeah, right.
Being healthy, though, and that's the first commitment to kindness. Be healthy, eat healthy, think healthy, act healthy. Curb your greed. You can't take it with you. I've never seen a hearse with a U-Haul behind it.
Yeah.
You've had the money. You've seen, you made your mistakes when you had money. We all make mistakes when we had our first landfall of money. But then we become minimalists. I'm a minimalist now, obviously. I don't have a car, so I don't have to buy new tires or change the oil, put gas in it, worry about accidents, DUIs, insurance, payments, all the things that come along with having a car. So, and it's saving the environment by not having a car. I live in a small community, Antigua, Guatemala. It's 15-minute walk to the grocery mart. And that's 15-minute exercise back. So I don't get a whole lot of exercise. That's beautiful. Take my own advice and exercise more, but it's a fluctuating scale. I get so bored with doing the same thing. This is what I've done in my life that's been a challenge to try to save the planet from the insanity of humanity. That's been a challenge, and it's a great challenge. I love the challenge. And with people like you on board, we're gonna accomplish happiness in our lives.
It's happening. I've never been happier in my life. I'm putting it all on the line. I don't, there's no, I look at it this way. I cannot serve two masters. And I think of one as the kind of love and fear, or let's just for fun say God and the devil, right? I don't necessarily believe in that complete narrative like it's spoken, but at the same time, I do know that there are forces that are here to help us, or powers, and there are forces that are trying to harm us. It's obvious, right?
Yeah.
So I can only abide by love and service. So I will do nothing out of threat. And that's why we are standing free. And by the way, a year into it, nobody else is showing up to bother us. And it's very strategic, by the way, because if they do show up to bother us, then this message, because I've been on like 500 or 600 podcasts, this message will go exponential if they come and bother us. So they just want to get as much control as fast and as quietly as they can. And so, by the way, I'm just going to share with everybody, I'm not going to get chipped. There's not going to be anybody that's going to put a computer chip in my brain. Right? I am going to.
They could probably do it without you knowing about it.
Yeah, through the injections and stuff.
But not just the injection, they could put it in an apple, or they could, if they want to get to you, they can get to you. I mean, they're pretty nefarious.
Yeah, and they are doing that.
Scrupulous. America's the only people or country to bomb, to drop nuclear bombs on people.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I call it, again, I can't help but saying the insanity of humanity.
Yeah.
You know, the things that humans can do to humans is embarrassing, you know?
Yeah.
I mean,
until we recognize, and we are recognizing right now, that being good to each other is the most logical thing that could happen, because over time, in the short term, harming somebody might mean I have an extra $10 if I stole $10 or $100, but long term, that all falls apart. It's unsustainable. So we're starting to recognize that for the first time at scale. And the other thing is to get off these darn screens. Right. I mean, that's one of the biggest things, watching the kids on screens all day long. They don't know how to do what we grew up was natural doing. And so I just want to plant that seed. Oh
my God, you see kids they get their first phone at 2 years old, and it's a video game. So it's a mindless, stimuli to keep them keep the parent from having to parent. That's what it is. They're escaping parentism because they got a little babysitter that occupies them, so they don't have to be bothered. Parenting is the most important thing you can do on the planet. To be a fantastic father or mother. I never got love as a child, but I gave my kids so much love to compensate for that. I didn't use it as an excuse. A lot of people use their past as excuses. Yeah, you don't need the excuse. Just be. And you said good. I don't like the word good anymore. I don't think it has energy. I don't think it has any usefulness whatsoever. To replace it with kind. Yeah. To be kind. Kindness just solves all the problems on the planet. To be kind to our earth, to be kind to our neighbors, to be kind to ourselves. I mean, I made it so simple, stupid that everyone gets it. Now, I love it. Get back in touch with world leaders. I made a speech for the United Nations. I don't know if you read it. Probably didn't read it.
I did read it. That was beautiful, buddy. That is beautiful.
Well, I mean, if you don't mind, send that to Bobby. Did you have contact with Bobby?
I do. I'm directly in contact with his team.
Okay, tell him Dr. Fantastic. You didn't know me as Dr. Fantastic then. It was Monty. Remind him. You don't even have to remind him. Tell him Monty Cook is trying to get it back and hold of you. You know, I met him on John Paul's yacht. We became friends, and I lost his number. So obviously, there's no way of me getting to him unless someone like you says Monty's reaching out, and he's got something that you really need to hear about. Because believe me, if Bobby can hear about the 3 commitments to kindness, and he can tell it to Trump, we could change American. And it goes hand in hand with what we're doing. We incorporate the 3 commitments, that pledge, into edible schoolyards. Yeah. Every schoolyard has to have, and they have a lot of them now, I mean, mostly universities and colleges, but high schools and junior high schools and elementaries gotta have a garden.
It's a no-brainer.
It's a no-brainer.
I want to share with my daughter, Sophie. She's 5. And the other day I heard her singing. And I said, Sophie, what are you singing? And she was singing a song called Kindness is a Muscle. Isn't that awesome?
Is Sophie an ambassador yet? Did you give me her name before?
I'll give it to you now.
Sophie.
Sophie Gale. Yep.
Okay, I don't do last names, by the way. Everybody on the World Kindness list, all 9,800 plus, first name only, birth city. Where was she born? What city?
In Orlando, Florida.
Sophie's in Orlando. Okay, so she's going to be like 9,872.
Nice.
9872. And you have another daughter?
Yes, Isabella.
Isabella. And where was she born?
She was born in San Jose, Costa Rica.
San Jose, Costa Rica. We got lots of ambassadors there. You know, I'm in 143 countries, right?
That's so
She's
amazing.
9873. And I don't think I have your wife down as an ambassador.
Yeah.
What is-
Andrea.
Andrea. What a beautiful name. My cousin's name is Andrea. And where was she born?
She was born in Costa Rica.
What city?
San Jose.
San Jose as well. Okay, so she's 9874. And you see, you don't need it. I don't need their numbers. I just need them to follow the 3 commitments.
Yeah.
You
Well, she was
follow
singing the
commitments.
song "Kindness is a Muscle," so I think she's on to something.
I want her to record it and send it to me. By the way, you read this earlier, the pledge, the kindness pledge. I want
Yep.
to get, please record Sophie independently and Isabel independently reciting the kindness pledge.
Cool. Cool.
And we need to post that someplace on your property.
Yeah.
So people know, because the pledge, it really can save
I
the
love
planet.
it. Yeah.
You gotta start with the
I
children.
love the kindness pledge. You know, I'm gonna post that. Yeah, that sounds really neat. I know where I'm gonna put it. It's right near the beginning of the property. It tells a beautiful story.
It's again, you got to start with the children. If the children every day say they're fantastic, look in the mirror and say that they're fantastic, it's manifesting the results. And we got to, and growing is, it's like a manifestation, I mean, we are, there's a reason we know each other, and it's fantastic. And we don't, it's still evolving. You're involved. That project that you have there is evolving. My project's evolved. It's now I call it the kindness revolution.
Yeah.
And part of the kindness revolution is planting your own personal garden.
Yep. Being kind to Mother Earth.
I always tell people, it's to grow a garden accomplishes all 3 commitments. 1, it's exercise. 2, it's mentally stimulating. As far as commitment number 1. Commitment number 2, you're growing fruit for others, either to buy or to eat or to give.
Yeah,
that's helping others. It's also giving atmosphere, oxygen for the atmosphere, so that's helping the planet. So that's helping others. And 3, you're helping nurture our big garden, planet Earth. So you accomplish all 3 commitments to kindness by growing a garden.
Yep. It's so joyful. I mean, this calls me every time I wake up in the morning. I can't wait to just walk through the garden.
Well, that's one of my sayings is the secret to happiness is to figure out what will make you jump out of bed in the morning.
Yes.
That's the secret to happiness. And I think 5% of the people jump out of bed in the morning. 90% crawl out because they got to go to do a job or work in a cubicle and don't realize how important a day is till they're retired. And then the 5% say, screw it, I'm not getting out of bed.
Exactly. Oh, man. Well, I'm looking forward to showing you around in person, brother. It's
I'm going to come out there. I got to go to America for some business. I guess it's probably cheaper. I know Florida is cheaper to fly to than a lot of states. So I'll be visiting Florida next, I think.
Good deal. Yeah, Orlando's especially cheap because Disney's here. They want to get your money at Disney, but instead, come here.
I got hit by lightning in Orlando on top of the Contemporary Hotel.
Wow.
In the 70s.
Is that what happened to your hair?
That's what happened to my hair. No, it didn't affect my hair. It affected my brain.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. Maybe that's where the kindness jolt just boom.
Well, I don't know. My wife says, well, you always say I'm from a different planet because I don't think like normal humans. My last girlfriend said I'm from planet Pleiades. I just don't think like normal people. And everyone can't think like me, but they can certainly follow my advice because it's solid freaking advice. Yeah. It's bulletproof advice.
It's bulletproof. And I know you know the book Think and Grow Rich, Napoleon Hill.
No, I don't care about Rich. I never would read a book like that, but
This is an
I heard of
ancient.
it. I didn't read it.
Okay, well, Think and Grow Rich. It's not about money. It's
Oh, okay.
about wealth in your heart and soul. And
Oh, okay.
anyway, Napoleon Hill was commissioned to study the most successful people in the world. And after decades of studying these people, he deducted whatever the mind can conceive and believe, it can achieve. So you and I are here talking about global movements. We and we believe them. So now it's just a matter of achieving.
Well, I must have stolen his line because I don't know. I didn't read the book. I don't know the guy, but I always say the first step is to conceive. Then the second step is to believe. And the third step is to achieve. So I guess he said that before me. Oh,
Well,
it's like
anyway,
I thought I
it's
invented what
universal.
I called the martini, dirty martini shot. It's vodka and olive juice and an olive in a
Yeah,
shot glass. And you
yeah.
take it in one shot, and it's delicious. And so I told my girlfriend that I just created a shot, dirty martini shot. She goes, "Nah, people invented that a long time ago." Well, if I didn't know that someone else did it, I invented it, right?
Yep, universal wisdom.
Exactly.
I don't know if there's anything new under the sun, but we're
You
sure
are
going to put it together.
fantastic. I think we covered the good, the bad, and the ugly about food. I don't want to talk any more negativity. I usually never talk negativity. I don't like it, but sometimes you just gotta know what's going on. Like the go to the takeaway from all this is if it's in a package, don't freaking eat it.
Yeah. Yeah. The takeaway
Everything
is,
processed is bad.
yep.
Everything.
If the takeaway for me is be kind, be fantastic, and be stewards of the land. Take the
Yes.
poisons out and use our land as an asset and not a liability. And we solve all of the world's biggest problems.
Yeah. You're fantastic, Jim. So happy to have you on our community and spread the word. I'll send you some more information. Hopefully you'll read it this time and put up a big sign with the pledge. Get your kids in your phone there to say the pledge. I love when the kids say it. It's posted on the Foundation for World Harmony.org.
Perfect.
It's called the Kindness Pledge, and we got, only got about 30 or 40 of them so far. But we got JP, the billionaire from, from Patron. He recorded his in Saint-Tropez, France. So I figured if a billionaire can take the time out and record the pledge, we all can do it because it's setting an example of that pledge has the power to manifest a fantastic future for humanity.
Yeah. I love it. Love it, brother. Love you, brother. I'm going to get on that for sure. And
Okay.
and yeah, I can't wait to give you a hug in person and show you this
Yeah.
place.
Okay, Jim.
All
Have
right.
a fantastic rest of the weekend.
You too. Talk soon, Monty.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
As far back as I can remember, I have wanted to be an entrepreneur. Now, I am here to guide you through the intricate paths of building your business, embracing emerging technologies, and navigating the startup world. I am Saul Tarazona, and this is Startup Corps, your go-to podcast for entrepreneurial insights and tech-driven success.
Well, it's that time of the show for cooking with Dr. Fantastic. This week, I'm going to show you how to cook a turkey. Wash, cook, stuff. I bought an 8-pound turkey. Of course, Thanksgiving was, as you know, last week. 40 million turkeys were eaten of the 216 million that get purchased each year in America. America eats a lot of turkey. Gobble, gobble. At any rate, so I bought a 9-pounder and gave my shot at it. I think it's the first time I've ever cooked turkey by myself. My ex-wife used to cook it all the time. But it came out delicious, really, really good. So check out the recipe, enjoy it, and don't eat anything in packages if you can avoid it. Oh my God, that was an amazing episode with Jim. But this was, again, in a package. The turkey was in a package, so maybe it was injected with all kind of stuff. We don't know. Anyway, food fraud. That was the big takeaway from Jim's interview. Like, subscribe, and share. This is stuff people need to know about. Enjoy the cooking episode, and see you at the end of the show. Fantastic day to one and all. It was the day before Thanksgiving, and all through the house, not a creature was stirring, not even a mouse. I bought a little 8-pound bird the first time in 5 years. I'm going to splurge and make Thanksgiving dinner for one because I'm in Belize and even my friends are in Antigua and my family's in America. I'm all alone, but it's okay because sometimes when you're all alone, you don't have to talk politics, religion, business, or anything else. And that separates a lot of people on Thanksgiving. So if you're watching this after Thanksgiving, that's great. If you're watching it, well, see, it's the day before, so I have to do a brine and I have to marinate it. And I was just tomorrow I was just gonna throw it in the oven with some olive oil, salt, and pepper, and see what happens. But I decided to go a little extra and brine it because supposedly it's easier to get under the skin. Put some herbs and spices, put some flavoring in it. There's a lot to doing turkeys, and I've seen it over the years. You put them in hot oil, you can fry them, bake them. I have no idea how it's going to turn out. I'm sure it's going to turn out delicious because I'm going to put, what I like. I like garlic, I like pepper, I like olive oil, I like sage and rosemary and paprika. So all the spices will go in there. After I do this thing here, let me show you here. I guess the first thing you're supposed to do is wash the bird. Take out, can you see all this? Let me turn it a little bit more so you can see my expertise here. Okay, here we go. So obviously this is from Caribbean chicken here in Belize. First thing you want to do is take out the gizzards. I'm going to use that to try to make a gravy. Well, there's the neck. Gobble, gobble, gobble. I love the neck. I mean, the neck is a delicious piece of meat. I don't know. I like all food. At any rate, so under cold running water, supposed to give the bird a bath. I wouldn't say use salt and pepper. I wouldn't use soap, but you definitely want to give them a bath. Get underneath the arms there. But I do when I always turn the wing like that. See how I do that? Turn the wing backward. Seems to be a little trick I've done through the years. Give it a good bath. Fill up that cavity. I can see it's tied with its own skin. I'm gonna leave that because I don't have a dressing. Maybe I'll cook some rice and throw a bunch of rice in there, and that's what I'll probably do. I'll probably cook some yellow rice and fill it with rice because I'm not a big stuffing fan. So there she is. I think she's washed. I think she's clean. Now, coming over here, I'm just going to walk through. I'm going to boil a bunch of salt water. Then I'm going to put a couple sprigs, I forget what you call it, of lemon, a couple bay leaves, rosemary, a few other spices, some garlic. Boil it, cool it, then pour it over the, I don't know what kind of container I'm going to be able to put this thing in. It's only 8 pounds, and there's no really containers big enough for it, but I'll figure out something. I'll keep you posted. Stay tuned. It's Cooking with Dr. Fantastic on Thanksgiving. First time. The 28th of November, I believe. And she marinated overnight in brine. So that's interesting. The pot's not quite big enough, but it's the biggest one I have. So we're going to see what happens. 46 million of these will be eaten today in America. And around the world in army bases and military bases, they celebrate Thanksgiving. The whole world doesn't, obviously, because it's an American holiday. In America, 216 million of these are eaten each year. And this is going to last me a few days. It's turkey for one, 9 pounds of turkey. I found some stuffing mix. So I'm going to put tomatoes, onions, garlic in here, some water, stuff the bird. I am going to put some, what do you call these things? Olive. I'm not olive. I haven't even been drinking yet. Garlic. Garlic's a great flavor. Great flavor. I'll put that in there. I don't have much rosemary and stuff, but you know, I was just gonna do salt and pepper, to be honest with you, just to see how it would come out. If it's like anything like a chicken, which it is, salt and pepper is really all you need. So there's not a whole lot of olive oil available to me today, but I'm gonna give it an olive oil bath. I love the fact that they tied it with its own natural skin. That's pretty interesting. I've never seen that happen before. And as you can see, the wings are tied back. I don't know if you saw that. How I tied it back, kind of interesting. It's my own little invention. Okay, then we're going to salt and pepper the baby. And put that stuffing in there. And it's 20 minutes per pound. So this is 9 pounds. So 3 hours later, I'm going to cover it first with aluminum foil. And then uncover it so it gets nice and brown. Can't go wrong with pepper. I'm going to put, I like it spicy, so I'm going to put some paprika on it. Can't go wrong with paprika. A nice seasoning. Put some in the dressing. You know, it'll be fine. it'll be delicious. So I take the dressing, put the tomatoes in there, and the rest of the cloves of garlic. I think I need a bigger pot to mix that in. So prepared. So, because it's too big, you can't mix it like that. You put it in there, you get a little water. I would say a cup of water. Not too much water. Cup of water, get it all moist. Mix it up. Use your hands. Make sure you wash your hands first. That's moist. You don't want to make it soggy. Then tip the bird up and say, "Open wide. Here comes the goodies." I'm gonna put the if I have room, I'm gonna put some potatoes. It's all about saving energy. I'm gonna put the potatoes in the same pan and bake them. Oh, by the way, I'm on the island of Ambergris Key. I haven't been here in a year. But as you might know, I put up these Be Kind signs all over town. And I just interviewed an old couple that thought it came from a school project. I met another couple that thought it came from the government. And because I just put Be Kind and all kinds of things related to it. Be kind to others, be kind to your neighbors, blah, blah, blah. I put up a sign today that said love, peace, and happiness. And people are loving them. And I'm so happy they're loving them because that's why I did it. To share kindness. And people have taken the initiative and actually are making signs and selling them, which is fantastic. Everybody wins when you make the signs. And so I got a couple interviews of people that love the signs. Makes me happy. I also have what I call a give and get bench out front on the main street here. And in that bench, you can give things that you don't want and you can get things that you might need. So I put up a couple, I put some clothes out a couple days ago. They're gone. Today I noticed 2 shirts. Someone deposited 2 shirts. They don't need anymore. Someone will get them. One man's junk is another man's treasure. You know how the saying goes. And I put out some signs that say, kindness served here. And so that's my little project for Belize. I think the world could use Be Kind signs. So I don't have a big, if I had a big sheet of aluminum, that would be fantastic. I do not have a big sheet of aluminum. So as MacGyver, I'm going to invent the tent. Invent the tent. My first tent of this sort. I'm going to tuck it all in the sides there like that. Look at that. That's going to keep the moisture in theory. I think it's going to do the job. What do you think? Comments below, as they say. It's all about the tuck. Get it tucked in there. What do you think? You know, the tinfoil hat for the people that believe in aliens, which I'm one of them. What do you think? That'll do it? Oven's preheated. 3 hours later. Oh, by the way, as you can see, I did not have room for the potatoes. I probably don't need the potatoes. I think 8 pounds of turkey for one person and some stuffing is quite enough. I don't have all the other accoutrement. I'll probably make a salad. I bought a nice jug of wine. So I'll have some wine, turkey for the next 3 days. Be kind to yourself. At Thanksgiving, be kind to all your loved ones. Don't let politics, the person you didn't vote for, or the person you didn't want to get voted for in America, upset the synergy of the family gathering. Have it be about love and friendship, you know, not about politics and money and all that bullshit that makes society horrible. Be kind. 2 words to save the planet. So I'll come back after it's all done, said and done, see if it was a disaster or not. Maybe I'll take a couple pictures along the way. Have a happy Thanksgiving. Have a happy life. Happiness is up to you. You can watch the Complete Guide to Happiness podcast of mine on YouTube. That's fantastic. I'm also now interviewing my ambassadors, not only on that podcast, but on Be Fantastic YouTube, on WhatsApp. There's a lot of people in Africa, I'm really big in Africa, don't have a good, strong Wi-Fi signal. For some reason, WhatsApp works. So that's fantastic. So I'm now interviewing people on WhatsApp and posting it to their groups and to their countries and sharing the kindness revolution. It's the kindness revolution. Be kind, everybody. At any rate, that's it. Thanks for watching. And again, stay tuned for the end. Just to see and, you know, take the aluminum foil off and try to baste it. There wasn't a lot of juices for the basting, but one of the wings fell off, so I took it out and I took the other one off, and they were delicious, juicy, soft, freaking delicious. So this is the bird. There she is, all her glory. I'm not sure if she's completely done yet. That's why I'm taking it out now. Carve it and see. But, and the dressing was to die for. You know, it was just, I think I did it. Yeah, see, it's coming off the bone very easily. When the leg comes off easily, you should know it's pretty much done. Yeah, look at that. That is tender. That is juicy. Oh my goodness. What a feast. The dog's gonna be very happy too. It's just me and the dog. Oh my God. That is delicious. Yeah, she's done. Unfortunately, I think I did the heat a little too high because I think it's in centigrades here, but it cooked it. Oh man, that is. Let me see here. Because you don't want to dry out the breast meat. No, it's looking pretty tender. Let me see here. This is the breast meat. Oh. What do you think? Oh my goodness. That's very tender. You know, juicy. Yeah, she's done. I think putting it on high was a good idea. Man. Wow. Oh my goodness. That's delicious. Let me taste the stuffing. Now, they didn't have turkey stuffing, so I used chicken stuffing. You know, the mix. But I put tomatoes and onions in it, as you know. There's some garlic. It's delicious. Oh yeah. Oh wow. Wow. That's good. And I didn't do any basting. You know, I always like to baste. For some reason, like I said, I think it was on too high. Wow. Oh. Happy Thanksgiving. I hope your turkey turns out just as well. And if it doesn't, remember, one of the ingredients to cooking smart, sharp knife, have fun, and have a cocktail. Because if it doesn't come out, cocktail smooths it over. Happy Thanksgiving, everyone. I'm in heaven. I'm in heaven. Wow, look at that. Guess I should make a plate, huh? Oh. That's a wrap. Happy Thanksgiving.
Welcome to the Be Fantastic channel, where you will find many fantastic interviews with amazing people.
Visit the top world museums,
Incredible zoos,
beautiful national parks.
special events, and much more.
These videos are designed to educate,
Inspire.
motivate, and entertain you.
We hope you will enjoy them.
Join the Be Fantastic philosophy.
Please subscribe.
Like and share.
Everybody, I'm here in San Pedro, Belize, on the island of Ambergris Key, and I just met these fine folk. What's your first name?
Joe.
Joe?
Suzanne.
Suzanne. And you guys live here part-time?
We do.
Yeah.
And you've seen these signs called Be Kind. What's the deal with those?
Well, we were so shocked when we first returned to the island and saw them up and down the road. It was
But they make you smile, too.
I was just going to say, brought a smile to our faces.
And
We're
it's-
all in favor of kindness.
That message goes inside. It's really great.
Well, you know, the smile reduces stress, anxiety, and depression. So it's my gift to the world, this what I call the kindness revolution. And I need everyone to be kind to one another. But firstly to themselves.
Worthy goal.
Yep.
It's a worthy goal, and it's my, in retirement, it's my gift to the world. And I'm happy that you guys, it puts a smile on your faces.
Thank you very much.
My pleasure. Have a fantastic day. Throw away the word good, replace it with fantastic, and watch your life change.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot.
Well, that was my longest interview of the series so far with Jim, ambassador number 293. And it was, for me, really exciting because it talked about the good, the bad, and the ugly of the food industry and how you could participate and make it a better world. It was fantastic. And I hope you will like this episode. I hope you will share this episode. I hope you encourage other people to subscribe to it, because I'm going to be interviewing some really fantastic ambassadors. I already have 7 or 8 in the can, and they're all really special people that are being kind to themselves, others, and the planet. So tune in next Monday. Obviously, these are shown at any time, 365. So if you have the link to all of them, send it around. The more people that watch these shows, the better off they will be, the better off the world will be. Be kind to yourself, be kind to all others, be kind to Mother Earth. Be kind, 2 words that solve it all. See you next Monday. Whatever you're doing that's making you happy, keep doing it.
I met Dr. Fantastic along life's way, and I heard him say, you gotta say, I am fantastic, la la la, I am fantastic. You can feel it if you say it. It ain't a game, you gotta learn how to play it. Fantastic, fantastic. Just listen to the doctor. fantastic. He's not sarcastic. He says, I am fantastic.